Just moments ago at the rally in Union Square.
Trayvon was your typical teenager. Trayvon did the typical teenager thing. Trayvon was not, and I repeat, was not a bad person.
We know that.
George Zimmerman took Trayvon's life for nothing. George Zimmerman took Trayvon's life profiling him. My son did not deserve to die.
Ben Jealous is head of the NAACP. He's out front tonight along with Paul Callan, attorney. And thanks to both of you. Ben, I wanted to start with you. I know that there was a town hall today. There was a lot of acrimony at that town hall. Videos show some very heated moments. What are community members telling you right now?
Folks are saying, look, we want to see this man locked up and brought to justice. We want to make sure that this department is actually looked into from the bottom to the top, both in this case and in this sort of general pattern that we see here. And we want to see this chief gone, because he has simply lost the faith of his community. Just moments ago, we received a report that the county commission had voted 3-2, no faith, excuse me, the city commission, no faith in this chief. And that just reflects what I heard all last night and all today as we talk to people here in Sanford.
And Ben, I'm curious, because, you know, the Department of Justice agreed to take on this case to investigate if it was racially motivated. And I'm just wondering, from your point of view, is it possible that evidence could come out that would change your mind and make you think that this was not an explicitly racist act?
No one has any idea if George Zimmerman is a racist. I'm not here to say that.
Yeah.
Our concern, the pattern that we see is that in this community, going back to at least as far as 2005, some people say longer than they have been on this earth, there is a pattern of this department not treating cases involving young black men as victims as seriously as they should. That simply young black men's lives are just not valued as much, and that when people have some connection to this department, whether they're a volunteer on the weekend and as a reserve officer, or they have a family member on the force, or they're a neighborhood watchman, that they get sort of wide latitude and special dispensation even when they've killed a young black man.
Paul, you know, this stand your ground law, you're allowed to use deadly force if you are in a place where you feel reasonably threatened with serious harm. Everybody perceives threat differently. So if you're a racist and you perceive threat where there is not threat from a teenage black boy, in this instance, that's not legally justified, right, under this law?
No, it's not. You don't get the benefit of self-defense if you perceive, because of racism, that's why you are in fear. The law says you have to act as a reasonable person would act, and the reasonable person under law is not a racist. So this is an objective standard. Was he in fear of serious bodily harm when he fired the deadly weapons? That's the self-defense test.
Ben, do you think, though, that the stand your ground law has allowed people that are racist to act with deadly force because they wrongly perceive people as threats who are not threats?
You know, what this law has clearly done is empowered cops to really make their own judgments about who's a killer and who's not a killer in ways that are simply not acceptable and hard to really wrap your mind around. I mean, when you read the law, what the law says is that if somebody stalks you, if somebody attacks you, if somebody puts a gun at you, that you have the right to use equal and opposite force. Well, that would seem to suggest that this law is saying that Trayvon Martin could have used deadly force against George Zimmerman. This law does not give you permission to go hunting for little boys, and that's what Mr. Zimmerman did.
All right. Final word quickly, Paul.
Yeah, Florida's self-defense law is the same as the law in every other state. If you reasonably perceive that you're going to be killed, you can use deadly physical force. The stand your ground thing is just, it's outside of the house instead of inside of the house. Inside the house, you don't even have to be in fear of death. You can shoot somebody who comes into your house. This really is a self-defense case. Is self-defense there or not there? And that's what it's going to come down to. Was Zimmerman in reasonable fear? And only the facts will tell in the end what the truth is there.
It does seem amazing, though, that there was no custody and no investigation.
No custody, no investigation.
Obviously,
most places he would have been arrested.
A lot more on this to come, and the big rallies tonight going on in New York. Thanks very much to both of you, Paul and Ben.